It is Draconathon. My first time doing Draconathon, so I thought I'd just vlog talking about dragon books, because who doesn't love dragon books? And you may find a hidden gem. And I'm prepared and ready, because on the screen, dragon ambience. Because why not? I have a book right here, which I've taken the dust jacket of, but I'm hoping you can see it says Blood of Old Kings, and holy shit, is this good. Like, let me just read you the opening line. So, side note, look at that map. I know it's black and white, but we need more maps like that. Please. I've started to annotate this as well. I was reading it and I was like, no, I need to annotate this. So I got a pencil to annotate in, because I'm not the best writer physically, and the pencil just, I don't know, it just appeals to me. So if I mess up, I could just rub it out. But the first line, immediately hooked. When she came to Lauren, it sounds like Lauren, but it's not Lauren. It's weird. It's Loran, but it sounds like Lauren. It's not. When she came to, Lauren found herself under the scrutiny of a dark red dragon with too many eyes. A dragon with too many eyes. You're waking up under a dragon. The claws are on your chest, but we're also, this is in the first chapter, so I don't consider this a spoiler, but I shall become the King of Ireland. Yeah, there's three protagonists. I've met Lauren, I've met Kane, and I've met Ariane. Ariane is in this like wizard school, which you have no choice. You have to go, and you kind of stay there unless you prove yourself to be like strong enough and powerful enough to sort of explore and kind of like work on scholarly stuff. She is going into a power generator to break somebody up because the voice is in her head. Then you have Kane, who is on the hunt to figure out why his best friend died. And people don't want him to know why he died. So that's interesting. And then you have Lauren, who wants to take back her homeland, but needs, with the aid of a dragon. And the dragon is like, I don't help anybody unless they are King of Ireland. And Lauren's like, I will become the King of Ireland, and I am hooked on this. I'm not even 100 pages through, but this shit right here, good. Already calling it 5 stars. Watch me not change my mind. Okay, watch this become a 5-star read. What the hell? Why has this been sitting on my TBR? Like this is what I need. It's a short book. It's something like 350 pages, right? It's short, but already I'm like, and this is translated by, I will put the cover up so you can read who it's translated by, because the cover is over there and I can't, hang on. It might tell me. Translated by Anton Hugh. So it's written by Sung-Il Kim, I think. Translated by Anton Hugh. Right, for some reason, books like this that are weirdly translated, I don't know why, I love them. The Grace of Kings. Okay, granted that's not translated, but Ken Liu has done some translated stuff. Fucking loved it. What is it that with non-Western fantasy I just love it to shits. I don't know. It's nice. But also dragon. It's absolutely incredible. But talking of dragons, let's veer away from this book for a little bit, because otherwise I would just keep gushing about it. I started A Language of Dragons. That started solid. So A Language of Dragons is basically, you kind of, it's giving me the vibe of like World War I or World War II with dragons, but they're not technically at war yet. So you're having people, it's a very classist society. It is set in London, but there's a dragons, and there was a dragon war. There's a dragon peace treaty that has been set. But you can be demoted in your class. So if you're third class, you hardly get anything. Hardly any rights. You can't really work yourself out. And all of this. You don't know anything, you don't know scholarly stuff, you don't know languages and stuff like this. But then you have second class, which is what the main protagonist is. And then you have first class, which is what you expect first class to be, right? So second class is sort of what I'd call middle class in England now. And her family was discovered to be behind a rebel group, so they got arrested. She's determined that they're, you know, innocent. Also at the same time decides to break into a dragon prison where there's one dragon who protested peace treaty, breaks her out with the idea that this dragon will burn down the Prime Minister's office, so the evidence that's in there will be burnt down. She didn't really think anything through, but I did love the fact that the main character just took charge and went, I'm going to do it, because she's the main character 17. This is a YA book. But again, it's very, very good. Then we got to the bit in the middle of it. I'm like 30% through. And she was obviously caught by, you know, the government and stuff, because stupidly she went and watched it go burn. And I'm like, you should have just... But again, it's also not hard to, like, stretch the... connect the dots. But the Prime Minister offered her a... you know, ultimatum is the fact you can work for me, and if you succeed in what I want you to do, your family will be spared. So that's kind of what she agrees to do, and she doesn't even know what she's agreeing to doing. It's so top secret. And then they go to this place, and then I'm kind of thinking of like, oh, we're going to have this love interest, and then we have this really, really horrible guy who's an officer who hates women. That's pretty obvious, and stuff. And, you know, you're just like, okay, so I am still reading it, but I'm also reading a non-fiction in between. So, I don't know, it's interesting. So, follow me along as I read as many dragon books as I can in April. So I have 100 pages left of Blood of the Old Kings, and I am hoping to finish it tonight because it's been a bit of a day, but I have been annotating the shit out of this book. I don't know if you can see, but all those folded pages are annotations. So this is like really good. I don't know if I'm like, oh my god, this is amazing and brilliant, I'm going to scream about like 6-star read, like one of the many good, but I am having such a fun time with this. Like, and I checked on Goodreads, and book 2 is going to be published later this year, so I might see if I can get my hands on an arc, but also then actually I might want to annotate again, so I might wait for that and then annotate this like another hardback, because when I bought this book when I was having a bit of a downer last year, so I needed retail therapy, I was like, I really want to wait for the paperback for this one, but at the same time I need retail therapy, and I had to be in Waterstones Piccadilly at the time, so I just bought it, and now I do not regret buying it in hardback because it's good. It is very good. So that's where we are. I'm going to go read the last 100 pages and report back on some thoughts. 10 out of 10. No notes. This was incredible. I loved it. Again, this wasn't like the one of the many absolutely incredible, I'm losing my God-loving mind, but it was very fast-paced. It was very concise in how it was told, and I love the lore and the dragon and everything. And just looking at this cover, once you've read the book, you know exactly why this cover is like it is. That's all I'm going to say. Which is how a cover should be done, right? But not spoiling the end, because this didn't. But also showing a few Easter eggs of like, oh, this is why the cover is like it is, right? I feel like that does it very, very well. So we are following like the three protagonists, and I really love the journey they went on. One of them, I wasn't really too happy with how it ended. It kind of felt like it was setting something up, and then they made a decision that then kind of, where I kind of felt, and I literally wrote in this, that I was like, I don't feel like this is the right decision. And that's not saying it's not the right decision for the character. It's just saying I don't think it was the right decision for this particularly. Like, I don't know, it just felt like the character was making the wrong decision, but the right decision for the character. I think that's what I'm trying to say. What am I trying to say? I don't know. But it was very entertaining. Like the other two protagonists, I really liked how their arcs ended in this story, and the fact that like the way the story is told, you're not shown everything on a page. Like a book like this could be told in 500 pages easily, and I would probably still be hooked, right? I would still be enjoying it. But the way Sung Il Kim, I'm butchering that, I apologize, is writing is very concise. So instead of showing you everything, showing you like an end battle or like you know, really deep into a character's sort of like despair, he will hint at it and he will say this happens, and he will kind of almost like shine a lantern on it and be like, yeah, this happens, but this is happening off screen and you're just gonna have to cope with it, because then you kind of skip into the next chapter and it's kind of like a time has passed. You never have the, oh, the character reaches here. It's like, oh, this is where the character is, right? And I mean, there was like a couple of points where it did do that, but that was sort of for a point. It wasn't meandering in that kind of way. You know, like how you, like characters traveling a long period of time. You don't have that. Yeah, they travel, but they travel off screen completely. It's like 20 days pass and it's 20 days past. That was it. There was no kind of like meandering into showing the journey of getting where they need to be in the 20 days. It was, they've reached there, which I quite like, and it's quite refreshing to be like in such a short, concise way of telling the story, because I love long fantasy books. I do. I love Lord of the Rings. Lord of the Rings is a bad example because that was published so long ago, but there is a time and a place for having these meandering things. I quite like a story that is concise like this, where instead of being like, oh, we have to do a travel monologue, you just arrive, right? And it kind of depends again on the story you want to tell, but there's quite a few books I can kind of think of that would have probably benefited a little bit from this. Sanderson is coming to mind, not gonna lie, because I don't know what it is about this book. It definitely feels like it wasn't short, like too short, like it wasn't cutting corners, and you kind of felt like, you know, yeah, I wanted more, but I also felt like it was the perfect length and it was told in the perfect way. There was a couple of things that bothered me on the writer's standpoint, like said character realised that such and such, you know, or realised that she no longer was holding the sword, for an example. Like little things like that bother me, but that's more writer me than reader me. That was like the only like annoying little thing I had about the writing, but other than that, this was absolutely incredible, and I am, oh my god. Book 2 comes out later this year, and you bet I'm going to pre-order it and read it the moment it drops. I really enjoyed it, and I'm going to be thinking about it all the time. And I never start and finish a physical book in a week. I did that with this. I think it was like 5 days. No, April 1st. Yeah, 5 days. 5 days it took me to read a 350 page book. Okay, that is unheard of for me. I love the magic system. I love the world. Somebody read this so I can talk to you about it, because this is incredible. What am I going to read next? Probably The Iron Crown by Ella McRae, just to stop my friend from screaming at me about that book. This is a big book. This is the Broken Binding Press edition, and it's very slippery with the dust cover, but it is 445 pages long. So yeah, this is 440 pages long. Book 3, which is ending this trilogy, has just been announced, publishing at some point this year. So this does seem like the perfect time to get into this. The only caveat I do have with self-published books is that sometimes the writing isn't up to par to me, and that's kind of where I struggle. The story could be there, it could be impeccable, but then the writing holds it back because it could be clunky, it could be something. My friend's read this. She isn't as bothered by the writing style as I am. I am hoping I'm going to like it. I do know Lauren. We kind of met, well, we met online, then we met at Worldcon. So she seems really, really lovely. But so I really hope I do like it. But at the same time, I know Everend does have the audio, even though I just cancelled my subscription to Everend. So there is also that possibility if I'm struggling to physically read this. But I'm going to try and dive into this weekend. I'm going to have to take this dust jacket off because it's so slippy, because it's got the... Ooh, that's pretty. But it's got the... it's the film on the outside of it. And I don't really want to take the film off it. So the dust jacket is probably going to have to come on. Ooh, on the back. There's words on the back. The dragons are the guardians of Tassar, spirits of life, of guidance and protection. Without them, we are nothing. So, I don't know. This looks kind of cool. It has artwork. Wow. Maybe I do really want to read this edition. Kind of cool. So I'm gonna probably read that. Maybe not tonight as much as I kind of want to, but it's late. So this is going to be my tomorrow's read. Possibly. I don't know what it's about. Other than it has dragon in it. I am 200 pages into The Iron Crown by Alex McRae, and I don't want to put it down. I am loving this. So what is this about? Obviously it's got dragons, but the dragons are also spirits of like the land and the sea. So you have like the dragon on the Isle of Salt, which is a spirit, and they take care of it, and there's sort of certain parts around. So you have like a shrine of Neros, which she is the spirit of one of the seas. The shrine of Torakayan, start of that, who again he patrols most of Porcenthia. Some of these names, man, you know, they're sort of all over the place and stuff like this, and it's really interesting. And then you have like Olmir, which has one shrine, but they're like little, you know, little spirits. Shrine of Miroth, which has like a little lake kind of side, like foresty kind of thing. But he is not as strong as the others because some seawater has tainted his little place and shrine. So that's diminishing his like power. But you were introduced to Fen first off, who is an amnesiac, and he is basically on this island of the salts, in this kind of swamp water that the spirit Hassan, the dragon, has decided to change from water to a bog, and he's struggling and he's trying to pull himself out, and the vines are telling him not to, because the vines are like, you're breaking us, start this. And the dragon comes like, what are you doing to the vines? I hear them calling out, you know. And like it's like quicksand, dude, he was going to die. But then you stumbled across two women, which is Giselle. I want to say Giselle from the First Law, but it's not that. But it's very similar. And then you meet Kalidra and her friend Giselle, which kind of save him. And I really like both their dynamic. They're gay, which automatically you kind of, yeah. But, you know, Giselle is somebody who's caring and wants to, you know, give people benefit of the doubt. It's like I really want to help. And then you have Kalidra, who is like so mistrusting. And once you get into her sort of backstory, you understand why, and it's interesting. But Kalidra gets her letter from her mother, who she's been estranged from for 8 years, saying that her father has died, and she is a daughter of a Leod. So she decides to go back across the continent, because they're on a tiny little island, so they have to across it, like it's like going across the pond, right? I'm taking it like going from England to France. It's kind of my vibe, right? You could do it in a day, you know. She decides to go back, but then when they end up in this port place of Ballowtown, the person who they were meant to meet isn't there, and then a creature attacks them, and they get separated, and Kalidra is so distraught, terrified of water, and Giselle and Fen got pushed in. Bear in mind, Fen has no memory. All he knows is his name, and he doesn't know how things work. You need papers to cross things. You need all sorts, you know, it's full of inquisitors, and people are rounding up what they're calling these lost souls, which Fen is one of them. People who cannot remember anything. All of a sudden they have no memory, and that's really fascinating, but also kind of scary because inquisitors. And then we are also following Torsten, who is an inquisitor and not necessarily a nice guy, and he is keeping secrets from the queen. My only issue was keeping secrets from his queen is I don't understand the full reason of why. Why isn't he telling her this particular thing has happened? Like, you know, are the Mair, like, there's also these creatures called the Mair that the queen had banished 5 years prior, and people think they're fine and they'll be safe from them, that kind of thing. But Torsten is still keeping secrets. He's doing his own investigation. He's not telling his own inquisitors. And it just, I don't know, it's not giving me a really strong reason of why. Why isn't he telling her? Like, what is his motivations for not doing this? But where I just left off was some people flying on griffins, because there's griffins here, have also have come back to try and warn the queen that the Mair are returning. And we don't really know wholly what the Mair are, but they seem like really difficult dark creatures that are hard to kill, from my understanding. Nobody really wants to believe them, or anybody else who was saying about it, because the queen kind of banished them 5 years ago, and she's meant to be this all-powerful mage. She's bonded to a dragon. She has very good control over iron and all of this, and she's like, that's not possible, it's not possible. Even her dragon Torcain, who basically patrols the land, is like, I would know, they're not here, and being very arrogant. And, you know, he might be a powerful dragon, but I'm like, the signs are there. Like, come on, as you're reading this, you kind of see signs there. But this is very, very interesting. Like, you know, I am, even though I'm questioning Torsten's like point of view, stuff like this, I'm a bit like, and stuff like this, you know, I'm still enjoying him. I love Fen and I love Khalidra's point of view. I don't know what it is. It's something about this world. It's so expansive that it's just sucking me in, and I don't want to stop. This is only like 425 pages long, and I'm 200 pages in on day 2. I've never read this much so much in my life. I'm like, I was hesitant going into this. One, because I do kind of consider Lauren a friend, but also because I'm always hesitant with indie books because of how they're written. And there are some parts of this which is clunky. Some of the dialogue, some of the writing style, but it's minute enough that I can ignore it as a writer. Like, I think if you're a reader, you probably won't notice it at all. But as a writer, I'm like, that dialogue felt a bit stilted, but it was only 1 or 2 sentences, then it moves on. Most, like 90% of the time, the writing is absolutely incredible. And the world and how she's showing everything that you're going through, and then you're learning, and it's the characters' journeys I'm really hooked on. Like, I never thought I would say this, but like Fen being so naive and kind and just wanting help, but also being lost all the time because he has no memory, and on top of having no memory, he's got this constant headache, and which I'm suspicious of. But then you have Khalidra, who is very like untrusting and more likely to stick a dagger in you than to offer you food. But the way she cares for Jezile is just incredible, and how she kind of breaks down, and how you can see her fear and her anxiety, especially from going back to her family that she's not seen in a long while. Which, having the meeting between her and her mother, I was like, I can totally see why. I can totally see why you didn't want to meet them. But I'm very hooked on this. I am loving this. Like, just the world and how expansive it is. The characters is just, I don't know what it is. I don't know why I waited so long to read this. It's been a while since I updated you. And you can say hello to Jack eating his breakfast behind me. And I do know the language of dragons because the main character is just annoying as fuck. I understand this, the whole point of her, right? Like, the whole point of this book, and I spoke to somebody who finished it, and I would write, was the fact that she was believing everything the government was saying, and the whole point was dismantling her belief in what the government said and done, right? My issue is that everything that was happening, everybody around her was like telling her like, that's not true what the government has said, and it just, I don't know, it was so obvious the government was lying. It was so obvious. that I was like, the main character just wasn't believing it, and she was so insufferable with it as well. And I was like, oh, I just couldn't do it. And it is first person. With third person, I might have distanced myself a little bit from the main character, but because it was first, I was like, do you know what, this isn't working, this isn't working, so I DNF'd it. I then tried to pick up Baby Dragon Cafe, and I didn't get very far, like 5% before I decided to put that down. I'm not really classing that as a DNF because I just started it, and I was like, oh, do you know what, no. And that was because I like the idea of the Baby Dragon Cafe, of the idea of somebody running a cafe that baby dragons are going to live in, but they're causing havoc. And although the main character is a terrible businesswoman, which was getting on my nerves anyway, but then you have the baby dragon, like somebody doesn't know how to train their dragon, so he goes to her and says, I'll pay you to help me train it, which is fine. And I love that idea, but the trouble is both of them, him and her, were just so like, oh my god, they're so hot, constantly. It was rammed down my throat, and I'm like, I don't care. I don't know if it's because I'm just so accessible or whatever, but I just literally do not fucking care about somebody's hotness. I just don't. So I quickly DNF'd that, and then I picked up Gog Magog, which was, I'm liking it. The narrator's really good. Older protagonist, which we need more books by older protagonists, not gonna lie. And I'm not very far in, but so far 2 people have come looking for this. I think she's like a retired sailor, and they want to go to this place, Luxembourg. No, that's a real place, isn't it? So she's like denying it, but then things are happening, and there was one moment where she was having a dream, but it was kind of a dream. And so I went, oh, you go to bed, and she went, oh bloody hell, it's not the bed, it's the bloody river. And I'm like, the river? What magic is this? So I'm really keen on that. Narrator is really, really good. But I'm going to give you a quick update as well, because I think I did a first update on Iron Crown, and now I have now finished that book, and oh my god, that book was incredible. I loved it. Like, I'm always hit and miss with it with indie books, purely because the writer in me, and I can see that a lot of hit and miss with indie books. But this was good. Like, again, it did nothing revolutionary, okay? But I was so hooked on the characters and the story and what was happening, and the Mair coming back. Mair? No. That I was like, I want to know why. I want to find it out. The characters were really, really fleshed out. Yes, there were some instances within their story where I felt like the writing was just lost its mojo a little bit. Like a couple of times it came across clunky, like dialogue and stuff like that. But because the characters were so engaging, I could, as a writer, which I don't do, like I really struggle to do, I could just forget that and continue with the story. And I read it so fast. I think I did 50% in a day, and then it took another 3 days to get through the rest. Or maybe 4, but one of those days I didn't technically read because I was so busy, and I was like, I didn't have time. And the ending wasn't revolutionary either. The ending was, it was an ending, right? There was nothing sort of incredible about it, but it was satisfactory enough, right? So some of the characters, their arcs are a little bit slow, so you don't see a massive change between the beginning to the end, but they do go through a little bit of a change. And it was the side characters, to be fair, that really engaged me. So there's Celis, who is a priestess of Neros, which is the spirit of the sea, but the spirits are also dragons, so that's interesting. And like, there was a thing that was revealed at the end. I was like, I knew that from chapter 1. That was obvious. I was like, you've done it. And then as soon as they started describing of how this certain magic worked, I was like, boom, got it. So it was nothing. It wasn't like, oh my god, I was surprised and revealed and shocked. But for a dragon fantasy, it was highly entertaining. That's what it set out to do. It set out to entertain, and I was entertained, right? I did kind of wish there was a little bit more going on with one of the characters, because we've got his POV in Act 1, and that was it. Which was fine, and he wasn't a very, very nice guy. But at the same time, I was like, I kind of wanted a little bit more from him. I'm hoping we're going to get more from him later on, because as we went through the book, we saw his reactions that weren't from his point of view, so other people revealing it, and I was like, but we did get another POV, which is Apollo, and Apollo is interesting, right, Jack? He is so interesting. I'm curious where this is going to go, and I'm curious about book 2 because of where book 1 ended to lead up to book 2 was just, it was fascinating. I really, really enjoyed it. So I highly recommend The Iron Crown. I'm going to probably do a series review on that. So I'm going to, because I think book 3 has just been announced. I want to say it's some point this year. I want to say, I'm thinking May, but I don't know if I'm right. I could be completely wrong, but it's just been announced. So I'm probably going to read book 2 and then go back and read book 3 when that is released and go from there. But I had such a good time. Which was so surprising, because for some reason, like, I bought this book because the author is a friend. Like, we're mutuals on Instagram, and I did meet her at Welcon. We're not like super close, but we talk now and again. So I bought it to support her, but then I was like, I don't think I'm gonna read it. Like, I don't know. I just got a bit like, maybe it won't. I feel like I'm not gonna like it. And I was shocked. I was shocked at how much I did generally have a good time. So that's that update. I'm going to go and to my next job because it's a lovely sunny day. Do some more horses. I'm on my feet all day, so let's see how far I can get into Gog, and hopefully I remember to update you a little bit more, because trying to update at work isn't always feasible as I'm listening to these books. But at the same time, I'm listening to so many books at the same time because I've got an art going on that I need to listen to. Plus, I'm doing this dragon reading song because today I just want something that I could just zone out on, which is Gog seems to be doing the trick. I'm also listening to a non-fiction, so there's a lot of things I'm reading right now, and it's always it's the 11th of April, so we are coming up to halfway through the month. And I haven't read half as near as I wanted to, but I don't care. I'm having fun. So, Jack says, you want to come say hello? Jack doesn't want to say hello. We will see you in the next update. I cannot remember the last time I updated you, because it's coming to the end of April now. And I'm still reading Gog, but I'm in an audio slump, so I've kind of put that on hold now. And I picked up A Court of Broken Knives by Anna Sismark, which Faye from Books of Chocoholic was like screaming about and wanting me to read, because she loves Anna Sismark. And I'm 40% in 2 days. Most of it was today, because I was on like 15% today, and I don't want to stop reading. I'm loving this. It still counts because there was a massive dragon fight in the beginning of the book. I wouldn't call it a dragon fantasy personally, but there's a dragon in it. Counting it, I don't care. I am loving it. The way Anna Sismark writes is so alluring to me. There's nothing beating around the bushes. Concise, straight to the point. Love it. Love books like this. We have these group of mercenaries that are going into this very rich city across the desert to kill an emperor. And things happen, things go wrong, and there's a party in their mercenary group that isn't who he seems. And like, I kind of guessed who he was, but there were things about him I was like, I didn't expect that. I thought it was something else that caused him to have this reaction, and not actually what was causing him to have this reaction. I'm being very, very, very vague because of spoilers. I'm sorry, but I am loving it. I love all the characters. I love how Anna Sismark seamlessly weaves in between different characters as well, and how it just kind of, she'll jump from one to the other. And there's a first person POV in this, and most of everything else is in third person, which how she does first person is good. Then she has like little glimpses of things that I think is, this is in the past, isn't it? And I kind of guess who these two people are about, because it's like 2 pages really of what's happening, and then I'm like, I think I know who that is, because you're not meant to know. And I'm like, I think I know. I think something's happened, and there's also secrets about this particular mercenary person past. I'm like, I want to know why. Like, something really had to have happened to cause such a visceral reaction at a load of people. And I'm like, I want to know. And I'm also worried about like what's happening. Are they going to manage to kill the emperor? Are people going to discover things? There's plots going. This is giving me very much Game of Thrones. Very much Game of Thrones. And I am just loving it. Like, there's so much stuff. I've been hunting for like the Game of Thrones book so long since I read Game of Thrones. I haven't found it. This is quite close. I'm like, this, yeah, I could definitely see it. I could definitely see it. Loving it. I just don't want to stop. All I do is read, and I literally have to blitz my entire house because from like the 29th of April I'm out of my house for a month because I'm house sitting and work and looking after other people's animals. So I can't leave my house a mess. I have to leave it spotless. Don't ask me why. There cannot be 1 ounce of washing. Anything Hank does, nothing. It's got to be like the showroom as you go into view a house. It's weird. It's my thing. It's 12:30 on Sunday and I have 2 days to get this done, and Monday and Tuesday I'm busy, so I have today to spot clean it. All I want to do is read. How about I'm just so addicted, but I might just binge this series because I'm addicted, absolutely addicted. The way Alys Spark writes, how dark the world is, but yeah, she's not coming across as overly gratuitous. Like, these dark things happen, people die violently, and yet it's not like she's not overflowering it, if that makes any kind of sense. She's not sort of like making it, you know, this happened, we're going to spend a little moment here, it might be a paragraph, then we're going to move on, and then all of a sudden you're like, what, that was horrible. That was like, there's a religion thing where children have to be sacrificed, but only the high priestess is allowed to shed blood. And there was a scene as well where one of the priestess servants made a mistake on the altar and knocked over a candle in it, and the candle went out. And as punishment, because she made a mistake, hands got chopped off, eyes gouged out. This is not for the faint of heart. And I went into this because I had a couple of bad days, as you do, right? The autism was tizzling. And I literally went, I'm going to go read Alys Spark to cheer me up. And you know what? She fucking has. I know that sounds weird, but grimdark cheers me up. Don't ask me why. Highly recommend. I'm probably going to try and check in later this evening when I don't know, will I finish this book? It's only a 430 page book, I think. And watch me panic clean my house the next 2 days. And I'll just read this all day. Because honestly, highly tempted. I just remembered I need to update you on the Court of Broken Knives that I finished. I did finish, and I absolutely adored it. It was everything I wanted and more. This is high Game of Thrones vibes. I didn't finish it in a day, as you can tell, because I'm not home, but I did read it very quickly. I read a lot of it in a day. I was like 70, but I think I read about 50 to 60% in a day. And I was just hooked. I love the way Alys Spark just crafts her writing and her writing style, which a lot of people will also be like, not my kind of thing. I loved it. It's very concise, very to the point. And like, you see these characters, and even though you're not sort of, because it's written very concise, you would think, oh, maybe there's not enough room to care about these characters, have these character arcs, but there are these character moments, but they're just done, I don't know how to explain it, very like, instead of being like going around the bush, and she's trusting you, the reader, to kind of pick up on these kind of little things. It'd be like, yeah, this is happening, you can pick up, this is what he means, and stuff like this. And it's just how she writes it and how much I care about these characters. And the gayness. Honestly, in this world, gay people just exist, and they're not looked down upon. They just exist, and I just love that. This is what I want in a world. I don't want to have things like, oh, they're gay characters, make it a point about them being gay. No, that's not their identity. That's just who they are, right? But that's what Alys Spark does. She has these people, these scheming people, and they're also a gay couple, and it's like, yeah. Yeah, but she also doesn't go explicit, which I quite like, because we don't always need the explicit stuff. Then you have I lost my living fucking mind over Marith and Thalia. Oh my god, this is what dark romance should be like. I'm not really much a fan of dark romance. I am in this case. Two horrible people, a priestess who kills people for a living and a soldier who's running from his past that just loves killing. They both meet and they're toxic as anything. And yet together, and there's moments as well. I'm screaming for this. I'm screaming. And honest to fucking god, there are moments where I'm just like, I'm loving them, and then there's something that happens. I'm like, is he gonna with Thalia? And I'm a bit, I don't know, we don't know yet because of what's happening. And it's incredible. It's kind of like a couple of moments Thalia would kind of go, I wonder if he'll let me leave, but she's also not entirely sure if she wants to leave either, and it's just insane. And the way that he, like Marith as a character, right, he is just so unhinged. Like, you've been having negotiations and you're thinking like, they want him dead, people want him dead, and they're talking about negotiations being like, you need to give him his head, right, he needs to die. And instead of, he just gets up drunk, because that's how he copes with anything, he just drinks and drinks and drinks, and he just stabs the negotiator through the throat. It's just like, boom, gone. Now you have to fight for me or you will be dead. Like, not threatening them, but being like, they will kill you either way. So, and I'm just like sitting here loving this shit. This is what I love about Grimdark, and this is what I love about Game of Thrones, right? This is not Game of Thrones. Like, I don't think we're ever going to find anything that is going to be exactly like Game of Thrones, but this is fucking close, and I absolutely loved it, and I immediately want to dive into book 2, but I can't. I just can't, because I've got other things I've got to read, I've got arts I've got to read, I've got things I've got to do, and I can't fit it in, mainly because I'm reading the Devils. I'm reading the Devils, okay? I have less than a week to read the Devils, so I can't read that book before I read the Devils, okay? It's a thing. But I absolutely loved it. Absolutely loved it. This, I don't even know, is it 5 stars? I don't know, it's close. I finished this a couple of days ago, and I'm still like, I don't know how to process my thoughts on this. I really, really don't. I was blown away by Alice for Spark. So thank you, Faye, from Books and Chocoholic, for making me read this book, because she loves Alice for Spark, and I am now on that hype. I am. I think I'm going to binge her series. Just binge her backlog. I might just binge her backlog. Let's just do it. That's my update. And that's the end of this vlog. This DRACONATHON vlog. I can't remember if I updated you on, but I was reading Gog. I did that via audio. I'm in an audio slump. I just can't make myself pick it back up. So I'm going to try and see if I can get the paperback, and I'll just continue on from the paperback, or I'll just restart it again when I'm back in that kind of mood. But I am in a slump. If I'm listening to an audiobook, it's usually non-fiction history stuff, because I don't know, I'm just not in the mood to read a fiction audiobook. I don't know what that says about me, but that's where I am. I've partway listened to Gog. I've read The Blood of Old Kings, The Court of Broken Knives, and The Iron Crown. That is it. I've done 4 books, kind of, for this vlog. 4.5 books for this vlog. I have read other books this month because I've had other things and other projects on the go. I've enjoyed myself, and I kind of wish that I could really dedicate myself to this kind of thing. So, if you have any dragon book recommendations down below that you think I will like, let me know, and I would highly likely that I'll pick them up, because I love dragons. But at this moment, this is what I've read. 4.5 books for this vlog. I hope you enjoyed. Put your recommendations down in the comment below, and if you've gotten this far in the video, just drop your dragon down below, or tell me what your favorite dragon is. Tell me, you know, what would your dragon that you had, if you could own one, be called, right? I technically have one called Mally. She snorts like a dragon. I hope you enjoyed this, and I will catch you in the next one.